We have another Marble League in the books. There were ups, there were downs, there were more downs, so many downs, and we all watched with bated breath to see a marble sports commentator flirt with a duck statue. Coming out of the chaos and confusion emerge new champs and new chumps. But most importantly, more chumps. So let's get into roasting. I know last year I talked about just the winner of the showdown, but this year I want to talk about all the new teams, at least for a bit. Doesn't make it hard that two of them are the top two teams in the showdown. For a team that I said shouldn't have been here, Team Plasma made me eat my words after the friendly round, and they haven't stopped showing why they were chosen to come back. They are electric. They podiumed in the first three events and all but cemented a first place finish after the first half of the tournament. The Blackjacks weren't too shabby either, although poor placements in sprint, climbing, and sand rally showed them that they still have more places they need to work on. The Wolfpack did alright, nabbing a pair of silvers in their inaugural season. The Purple Rockets did pretty mid. They were literally mid throughout the entirety of the showdown and finished in the middle of the standings. But not relegated. I think that Team Plasma and Wolfpack will be a problem next year, and that all the other teams will have to watch out for them. So congrats new teams, you're going to the qualifiers. I get that it's not much, but it's more than what the next four teams can say. Thank you for adding more fuel to your fire, Junkers. This performance in the showdown will go down as one of the worst we've seen, and relegation makes it that much sweeter. The way you... What do you mean that the Jumpers aren't relegated? Who's in the first spot then? Oh God. Oh God. This team is f***ing doomed. The way the Hazers performed in the qualifiers and now the showdown shows that Hazy was not the problem. They went from being the bridesmaid to getting kicked out of the wedding to now getting duped into a pyramid scheme selling essential oils and healing crystals while right swiping on 5 different dating apps. This is truly the farthest fall from grace we've seen from any Marble team. The Hazers were considered the best team to have never won a title, and now they are in the basement. This ride is officially Russell Wilson certified. It seemed like the lead stacked the odds against the Hazers in the showdown with block pushing, climbing, and sand rally. These are the worst events for the Hazers to be in. Speaking of sand rally, here is a chart showing the bottom 4 teams based off of live standings during that race. Notice how the Hazers aren't in danger? They don't show up until 15 seconds remaining in a 3.5 minute race. The Hazers made Misty captain, and they repay them with this. All they needed to do was finish higher than 8th, and they dropped to 12th in the last leg of the race. Though this was the nail in the coffin, performing this poorly was a group effort. We can't forget their performance in the swing wave. Their first run garnered 2 points. Imagine if these scores were added and not highest overall. That would have been the crowning achievement. You get an A for execution, Hazers, as in you executed any semblance of credibility for your team. We'll see you in 2024, Hazers, at the earliest. For your fans' sake, let's hope your stay in the basement is a short one. Hazers country, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Wow, who would have thought that the Cobalts would get relegated? Me. I did. You know how bad this looks for you, right, Cobalts? You were the first team to repeat titles in a tournament, yet you still can't qualify. Even better, you won both these showdowns when relegation wasn't even a problem. Now, the first year in 3 years where finishing in the bottom 4 matters, what do? You finish in the bottom 4. You thought you were doing the bare minimum by winning the showdown when nothing was on the line, when you were really staring out the window trying to make clouds look like a championship trophy. People think this team is good when they have never qualified for a Marble League. They haven't been there in 6 years. And now they have to wait a 7th to see if they can make it on their 8th. This is pathetic. Just get some better players, Cobalts. Being better than the Snowballs or Turtle Sliders is not the f***ing flex you think it is. And you can't even do that right when it matters. God, I'm actually getting pissed right now. Let's move on to the next scene before I burst a vessel. The solar flares are on another level of suck. They are magicians, turning a hopeful franchise into the biggest dumpster fire you've seen right before your very eyes. They tried snapping their fingers to change it into a bouquet of roses, but instead snapped their watchability and fan base in half with the Infinity Stones. You haven't been 2 years deep into this league, yet many are calling for your team to be chucked into the landfill like the trash you are. Because of the track defect in the water race, no team took 16th in that event. Instead, Azure and Mimo tied for 15th. That means 7 teams took 16th place in the 8 showdown events. 3 of them were the solar flares. Nearly half of the events resulted in the solar flares gaining 0 points. Truly abysmal, as in your coat should be dropped into an abyss. I don't know which god or gods you've been praying to, but I don't think they're listening. It doesn't really matter which god you believe in, because they sure as shit don't believe in you. I've had the uncanny ability to jinx teams and unjinx others, so I'll finish this part off by saying, keep up the good work, solar flares. How was this a team anyone had hope in? The Noceanics have once again put on a masterclass of how to suck incredibly badly. They came in 3rd in 2018 and now become the first team to finish dead last in the main tournament and the showdown. They should have been relegated last year, so this year they took it upon themselves to tank back to where they rightfully belong. The only good thing to come from this team is the fact that my video from almost 4 years ago could have been made yesterday with how relevant everything is. You've done us all a favor by digging your hole deeper and deeper into the Earth's crust. Now we need to do the league a favor by filling it in behind you. How is it possible for a water-based team to drown? Oh, but don't worry, here comes Ounce, the athlete you move mountains to put on your team to go nowhere and nowhere fast. You could always bring Tide back. That always seems to help teams do better. It's been increasingly obvious since 2019. This is the real Noceanics, not this one. Enjoy 2023 from the bottom of the ocean. Now on to teams that actually competed for a meaningful trophy. By taking 14th in the Marble League, the Chocolatiers reminded everyone that they are in fact a team. I know I've ragged on the Thunderbolts or Indigo Stars about being a team that exists, but this team goes under everyone's radars because they just aren't exciting. They're so forgettable that even their own Wikipedia page says they're relatively unknown. I don't blame it either. I routinely forget about this team. They're the Chocolatiers. What have they done? Oh, that's right. They won the Group of Death in qualifiers. This team? This team. Are we sure we're talking about the same Chocolatiers? They showed some life for once and followed up that performance with this one. Though I was incorrect on my timing, I was right about you turning to fondue. You started out like the chocolate river in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but quickly turned into whatever is happening here. I will say that I didn't expect the Chocolatiers to take 14th. I didn't even expect them to make it this far. From 2018 champion, to a team who should have missed the qualifiers, to a team who showed us why they should have missed the qualifiers. The Midnight Wisps put together one of their worst seasons ever, which isn't saying anything since their actual worst season was 2021. This wouldn't be anything to bat an eye at, but just like the Chocolatiers, the Wisps won their group in qualifiers. You had everyone thinking you were back. that you were putting together a bid for a second championship, that 2021 was a fluke, and instead you collapsed from the get-go. They somehow escaped 16th despite being the only team to not medal in an event this year. They had 2 4th place finishes, but 12 finishes in the bottom 8. You could have at least podiumed once. For my sake, and the sake of my bingo, you could have sucked with at least a bronze, you know. You f***ed up my bingo wisps, and somehow you still weren't the worst team out there. Take that as you will, and get good, so I don't have to talk about you next year. If you watched the 2022 Marble League from start to end, then you witnessed the worst team to ever grace the Marble League stage. If I were an Indigo Stars fan, which, thank God, I am not, but if I were, this team is now an enemy for life. They booted the Stars down to the showdown off of a tiebreaker in qualifiers. They were given an opportunity that basically fell into their lap, and they did what with it? F***ing nothing. One hot podium finish and everyone thought they'd have a chance, and then nothing but losing. The 2022 Balls of Chaos averaged 4 points per event, with a silver medal. That's 64 points in 16 events. That's 44 points in 15 events. And of course, the crowning achievement to cement the worst performance of all time, 16th place in the 16th event, with Clutter going a 16th of the way down the track before getting stuck. They could have gotten as high as 11th and still would have taken the worst point total, but instead they went for the spectacle, and I respect that. The Balls of Chaos are the definition of, what's the phrase? That's the one. These teams beat you so bad that you were on a liquid diet and you still kept f***ing choking. You were outscored by the 15 other Marble League teams and 9 of the Showdown teams. You set the record for the worst point total, worst point average, and most lead cube points. You had 12 appearances in the bottom 8 and 10 appearances in the bottom 4. This was pure shit. This was pure ineptitude. This was pure, well, chaos. In metaphors that continue to age like wine, the Balls of Chaos went from a nice summit to doing nothing but eat gum off desk lids for 15 events. I'd say we'll see you in the showdown, but with your dumb luck, we probably won't. Well, it looks like Team GalacTHIRD is now Team GalacTHIRD. After falling apart in qualifiers last year, you finally decided to do something about that whole longest gold drought thing and won the first gold of the year, and the second, and the 9th, and the 10th. Only the second team to win back-to-back golds twice, and they did it in the same season. Still, if they didn't finish first, they either finished 9th or 10th. They had a chance to take the crown at the last event, and they finished... Guess what spot they finished in? In 5th! They finished in 5th! Thank you for the bingo spot, Galactic. Even though you couldn't get it done, 3rd place is still good enough for auto-qualification for 2023. Not bad for a team I errantly said would miss out on the league again. Do you know why I predicted that Team Galactic would miss out on this Marble League in qualification? Because I accidentally said the Limers twice. That's how bad the Limers are. Still, it would have been something to see them win the league with a 5th gold medal because memes go burr. This team came out of nowhere. From 2019 busts, Shining Swarm clawed their way out of the showdown and had a chance to win in 2021. The permutations were too great for a multi-lap race, but for a brief moment, they were there. The Shining Swarm weren't there in the first half of events for this year, however. They were dead last after Event 5, 12th after Event 10, but ran the table to finish 2nd from the top. They medaled in 4 straight events to kick it into high gear, but couldn't get it done in the final one. Still, silver overall is better than 30 other teams. It's nice to see them go from the team known as Who Are the Shining Swarm to silver medalists and auto-qualified team. This was a season they hoped for last year, and one that we could see repeated in the future. Of course, this year there can only be one champion, and oh god, is it a champion. Holy crap, Pinkies. You're trash. The Pinkies turn into the Stinkies faster than you can blinky. I think I'm gonna need a drinky. The Pinkies turned being bad at your job into an art form. You have the opportunity to do something extraordinary, Pinkies. You can redeem yourself in front of a new audience. Reach for a win, Pinkies. The Pinkies could only be so bad for so long. Literal years. I have been begging them to be good, and now they're good. And for some reason I'm not about it. So maybe this is the Pinkies' time to shine. A silver overall in the showdown. Turn that into a silver overall in the main tournament and shut me up. Said it once, and I'm probably gonna say it 1,000,000 times. Who gave the Pinkies the right? Who gave the Pinkies the right? Are the Pinkies actually this good? Possibly. Who told the Pinkies they could be good? Oh jeez, the Pinkies. Oh jeez, the Pinkies! So do us proud, Pinkies. Oh, what am I talking about? You're gonna stay in the basement, aren't you?
That's all I needed for him to do that, and it became personal with me.
But the Pinkies have taken gold. 29 points on the first roll. The Pinkies have nabbed silver. The Pinkies do predictably jump back up to the top spot over Team Galactic. Shining Swarm gains 2. That's never happened before for the Pinkies, and the Pinkies are Marble League champions!
Gaze upon the champions of Marble Leagues past. Savage Speeders, O-Rangers, Midnight Wisps, Raspberry Racers, the Savage Speeders again, Mellow Yellow, and now the f***ing Pinkies. It shouldn't have been a shock that a team everyone wanted to do well but got in their own damn way would finally get out of their own damn way. I've talked a lot of about this team. I mean a lot of about this team. But honestly, this should have been their 2020. The year that brand new faces turned to this competition, the Pinkies were ripe for making an impression on a fresh audience. They had a pretty bad 2019, but still got a couple medals out of it. Yet they collapsed and took dead last in qualifiers in 2020, followed by another year of failing to qualify. That's what shocked people the most, and myself above all. From back-to-back trips to the basement to the tallest mountain in marble sports is a heck of a turnaround, and one that is seldom seen in many sports. Now comes the hard part, Pinkies. Keep it up. We've seen from the Midnight Wisps that this could be a fluke. Your technical director left after helping you win the championship, whatever they did. The last thing we need from this team is to go back to sucking. We've been down that road before, Pinkies, and now that your hopes and dreams have been resurrected, don't go putting them back into the ground anytime soon. For now, it's got everyone, including me, feeling pretty pinky keen. Please, Marble League 2023 qualifiers, come soon. I can't go on like this. This was truly one of the Marble Leagues of all time. We are currently in my 4th year of making fun of these glass balls, and it's the first year where relegation is back on the docket. I didn't talk about relegated teams from 2019, and I didn't make a recap vid after 2020. Not out of any personal bias, it's just I didn't think to do one. All of this to say that these 4 teams will not participate in the 2023 qualifiers. They are relegated.
Oh no! We suck again!
Although this seems like punishment enough, I'm going to pile it on further. Since the rooting vids predict teams that will miss the qualifiers, and these teams have already missed the qualifiers, I won't talk about these teams when that time comes. If you want me to talk about you, you gotta have a chance. And if you don't have a chance, well, get good. I'll see you in the next video, and I'll see these teams next season. Except for the Jungle Jumpers. I'll see them sooner than that. Alright, let's take it from Hazer's Country, let's ride. Action.
Hazer's Country, let's ride. Hazer's Country, let's ride. Hazer's Country, let's ride. Let's ride. Come on, let's ride. Hazer's Country, let's ride. Hazer's Country, let's ride. Let's ride. Hazer's Country, let's ride. Hazer's Country, let's ride.